How you doing, guys? Thank you so much for coming back to Cobra TV. As you can hear, I got a little bit of cold, so my voice is going to be a little bit under the water at the moment, but what a great time this is. Star Citizen 3.0 has released, and we got the Star Citizen ship sale going on. I have been watching hundreds of hours, I'm not kidding, I think it has been, of gameplay from Star Citizen 3.0 from other people. And I'm jealous. I'm jealous because you guys know my PC's broken and I can't fix I can't work it. I mean, play it. I can't play it at the moment. And I'm super jealous. But I am happy that a lot of people are able to get in there and start landing on some, doing some, moon landings and stuff on Dela and selling. The stuff I'm seeing is just absolutely amazing. There isn't going to be a community spotlight in this video because instead of getting the PC fixed, I got to go out and get the water heater fixed. So that's super important, and so I'm in a hurry. But I wanted to talk about a couple things. If I don't do it now, I don't think I'll have time. But super happy about Star Citizen. If you guys have any screenshots, please send them to me, and we'll put them in the community spotlight. You can send them to me at XXXCobra on Twitter, XXXCobra, or add me on Facebook. Links are down below, and some other places where you guys can find me or comment or whatever you guys could do to get me your screenshots, and so I can put it in the community spotlight. But super excited about Star Citizen. I want to know if you bought into Star, if you backed Star Citizen and what ship you have. So please comment down below what ship you have right now, or what ships you have in Star Citizen, and let's see what everybody out there is flying. On today's show, I want to talk a little bit about Dual Universe, Galaxy 4D, No Man's Sky, and our last subcast. So let's go ahead. I want to kind of start with Galaxy 4D. Oliver's making a game called Galaxy 4D. It's a multiplayer galaxy simulator that's based on real physics, real orbiting physics, rotation, all that stuff, gravitational physics, and everything. And he just released some new footage of him doing flight physics. And what's really cool about Galaxy 4D is that, just like Dual Universe, the things that are going to be in the game, such as ships and bases and space stations and things like that, are all going to be player-made content. So the game doesn't come with spaceships. It doesn't come with space stations or outposts or things like that. You could even build your own computer in Galaxy 4D, and when you build your ships, you're literally building a ship that could, essentially mess up on you or not get as far as you need it to go. So I'm super excited to see that gameplay mechanic. But the game is very early in development, and he's got a video, just uploaded a video of him doing flight physics testing and things like that. So he goes out of the planet, goes back into the planet, and I tell you what, the landscape is just amazing, and I cannot wait to play this game. But it's early development, so let's go ahead and take a look at that clip right now. All right, so super amazing, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what the ships are, what kind of ships we could build in Galaxy 4D. I was hoping to get a look at the ship, but it looks like it's just some kind of orb, depending on the, looking at the shadow and things like that. We also interviewed Oliver about Galaxy 4D. You can find that link down below. All right, so let's move over to Dual Universe, similar to Galaxy 4D in the vein that they're focusing on player-made content. What's really cool is JC just uploaded a video, who we've also had on the show and we've interviewed. I'll leave that link down below too, a full interview with JC from Dual Universe. He has uploaded a video showing how you can script within your own creations. So let's go ahead and take a look at just a small clip of him explaining that, and we'll come back.
Up here to illustrate the basic concepts, and what we're going to start with is to control this light with this button. So one way of doing this, as we have seen in previous video already, is to actually use a link. So I can connect this button to this light, and when I press the button, the light goes on and off. So this is the natural and the most standard way of doing this, but for the sake of demonstration and because it's a good and simple example, we're going to use Lua programming to do exactly the same thing. So let's have a look. Okay, so let me start by first deploying a programming board. A programming board is one particular type of control unit. Other examples are the cockpit or commander seats, and control units are the type of elements that are able to store and run Lua code. So this is the simplest one, the programming board, and we're going to use it here. Once you've deployed it, you need to connect it to the different elements that you want to actually script. So you do this with the linker. As I do it, I connect the button, and here I'm going to connect the programming board to the light. You can see in the little window that appears that we are actually connecting slot number 2 from the programming board to the light. So once you have deployed the link, you can actually check that later by hovering the link, and you see on the left part that the programming board slot 2 is used, and here this link originates from slot 1. This is going to be useful in a second, so keep that in mind. Let me just give a little bit of background on the links themselves, so that you better understand that notion. Here you have a green link, which means that it is a control link, a type of link that means that you are going to send sort of Lua information through it. Just before we saw another type of link, which I'm going to redo here so that you can see it, which appears in blue, and this is a link that is transmitting signal. So it's a signal type of link. Signal are basically 1 or 0 that are conveyed between the elements directly. So they are of a different nature compared to control links, and so they have different colors, so you can differentiate them. So let's take the signal link out, because we will connect those two guys through Lua directly. So once you've connected them, you're ready to actually open the Lua Editor window. So let me step out of build mode first, and now as you look at this programming board, you can right click on it, and action for this element includes edit Lua script. So let's just do this. This window appears, so it's a bit scary maybe, but we're gonna get through it, and it's actually pretty simple once you get how it works. The first part of this window is this left column here, where all the slots actually are listed, all the available slots on your programming board, and you can see that slot 1 and 2 here are editable. You can actually select them, whereas those ones are not editable because they are not currently used. We're gonna get back on these a bit later. So you can see that those two slots are here. First thing we're going to do is that we're going to rename those guys, like for example calling it button here, and here is the light. We can actually interact with the elements that are plugged into these slots using the names of the slots. So it's a good idea to give them meaningful names instead of simply slot 1 or slot 2. You don't have to do this, but it's a good practice. Once you've done that, you can select the button here, and we are going to actually catch events that are emitted by these particular elements using the second column here, which is the filter column. So let's just add a filter. You will see how it works. So I'm adding a filter here, and here I can select for this filter different events that are actually bound to the particular elements that is plugged here, in this case the button. So you see that you have start stop. This is true for every slot. They will be called when the Lua script is initiated or stopped, so it's called only once, at the beginning and at the end. And here you have two other events that are interesting: pressed and released. These events are specific to the button element, and actually every type of element is coming with its set of predefined events that it is exhibiting for you to use. So let's select, for example, the pressed event. This is an event that is very simple. It doesn't have any parameter, so it simply is going to be triggered whenever I press the button. And the third part of the editor window is the right pane here, where you can click in and enter Lua code that is going to be executed when that particular event from that particular slot is actually occurring. So here you could have anything you want, like x=1 or any code you want. So instead of that, we're going to do something which is to call a particular action on the light slot. So we talk to the light slot by writing his name, then there's a dot, and then we can type the name of an action. One action that is available for a light is activate. So it doesn't have any argument as well, so you just do this, open and close parenthesis. That means, okay, call the action activate with no parameter on the slot that is called light. It happens to be hosting a light unit, so that will actually activate the light. So that's very, very simple. You could have a much more complicated Lua code here, anything you want. And if you want to sort of talk to a particular element, you're going to do it through the slot, by the name of the slot, and through a particular action that is listed in the set of available actions for that particular element. We're going to get back to that in a second. Let's add now another filter for the button here. It's going to be here, the event released. So this, as you guess, is emitted when I release the button pressure, and the Lua code I'm going to run in that particular case is simply light.deactivate. That means just switch off the light, basically. When I press the button, the light goes on. So we have actually implemented this very simple connection between the events emitted by this button and the actions that this light is capable of running. So let's apply that, and let's activate the control unit, and you can see on the left the light is blinking.
So really awesome. This opens up and pushes, you know, the creative power that we can have when we're doing our creations. In most games, you know, you go through your inventory, you find a light, and you place a light, and then you know, maybe you're hooking up a power source to it or something like that, like in Planet Nomads. But with Dual Universe, you're able to, you know, make a light, place it where you want to, and then script its behavior, what you want it to do. Now, this is just talking about lights. I mean, we could talk about, you know, display modules and the way a ship functions, its engines function, and things like that. So the possibilities are endless as far as what we can create with this power here. I am so excited to see what people can create in Dual Universe. This is amazing, amazing. So you could tell a light, you know, give a light a behavior. If you want it to strobe light, do you want it to blink? Do you want it to go off when it notices that there's a player movement, like a floodlight outside? Or do you want this light to trigger something else, or, you know, program a door to behave a certain way? It's just I can't get over the amount of freedom that this gives people and their creations to create. It's just absolutely stunning. I want to move over to No Man's Sky for a minute. There was a little bit of activity on the Steam update. You know, there was a Steam update, but it was empty. And from what I hear, maybe a couple other games were also updated as well. So it might have been a Steam thing and not a Hello Games thing. But at any event, I mean, it's activity. If you want to look at it that way, but we're at but you know, push all that to the side. We are at the precipice of an update coming. So I look for maybe before Christmas to maybe push some more copies of the game, some sales, or we're looking at maybe a New Year's celebration, a New Year's celebration for No Man's Sky, maybe a New Year's update or something like that. But at any event, we're there. We're close by. Okay, they've been promising the Atlas V level 4 passes for quite a while, and I believe they have been put off, not because of procrastination or bad management or anything. I think that they have something to do with the next update, and I think that in conjunction, is the reason why we haven't gotten the level 4 passes yet, because they are part of the update. So guys, it's soon. It's really soon. I guarantee it. Christmas or New Year's, and one of the two. It's got to be one of the two. What do I think is going to be in the update? In our subcast, I mentioned I think that it's going to heavily focus around multiplayer. I think maybe being able to see each other instead of just the wisps, the floating orbs, maybe even multiplayer functions that, little mini games we could do. Like maybe we can now race each other side by side in better racetracks, or who knows, man. I mean, I really think that the multiplayer is going to be a big focus on the next update, along with some other things, because we usually see a big focus with their updates, plus a bunch of tiny other things we were not expecting. So I think multiplayer is going to be the spotlight, and then there's going to be a bunch of other stuff, or a couple of other things. But that's my guess for the update. I'm over here in the Cobra lair, sitting on pins and needles for it, though, I'll tell you that much. Speaking of the subcast, I want to move over to the subcast. We just had our last subcast, which is a podcast I have with my subscribers, where you could call into the show and pretty much bring up any gaming topic you want. I think it was the last subcast or the subcast before, we started talking about some really strange topics that had nothing to do with gaming. Yeah, we went into some pretty strange things. But our last subcast, we had a developer interview, and he came in to talk about the game Small Land, where you get shrunk down really teeny tiny, and you have to go in. You have to travel. You end up in the forest, and you got to travel through the forest, and then to your backyard, and then through your backyard, and to the house. And the house is the final goal. And you're fighting things that are no threat to us every day. Like ants and squirrels, and puddles become lakes with current that you could drown in, and mud and wind is all. It all makes you vulnerable. And what's really cool is the animals, the NPCs, like the ants and the squirrels and the birds, they are all using the same survival mechanic that you are to play the game. So the NPCs are not just there to attack you just because they see you. They're not programmed to just do that. They are actually trying to survive and working, and living with the same survival mechanic you are. So they need to eat and they need to sleep. Otherwise, they themselves are also going to die. So you could find yourself protecting your food for a reason, and not just an NPC just trying to kill you and then it just disappears or goes on its way. This thing is trying to kill you because it's actually hungry, and it wants to kill you because you're food. But that's really, really cool. The interview is in that subcast, but don't worry, you don't have to sit there through the whole 2-hour subcast. I'm going to be uploading that separately in about a day or two, really, really soon. We also got another video coming out about the game Everywhere, which is the ex-president of Rockstar North, Leslie Benzie's new project, where he says it's going to change gaming, and he says it's never been done before, and he's got some really cryptic explanations about what his game is. And when he was asked what he was going to be competing against, because like the interview was trying to say Rockstar, say no, but he said we're competing with literally everything for everyone's attention. So really super interested in seeing what this is. Still no gameplay, only just a handful of interviews out there, really cryptic responses, but he has moved very quickly. He's got 3 studios, one in Budapest, one in Edinburgh, and one in LA. And last number I heard, he had 30 developers hired, which I'm sure that number has probably doubled, if not tripled. He's going all in for this, and so I'm super excited to see it. But we're going to be uploading a video about that, talking about another interview that we have that has a little bit more perspective on what they might be building. So look for that this week as well. Well, guys, that's it. I'm not going to have a community spotlight in this video because, it's just a really quick video. Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I have for right now. I just wanted to reach out and chat with you guys for a couple minutes and show you a couple things that I've been looking at. Well, that's it. As always, I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming back to Cobra TV. And thank you for all the Patreon supporters. If you would like to help us get our PC fixed or replaced, you can help us out on Patreon. That'll be a big help. So jealous of all the people that get to play Star Citizen right now. I'm gonna head off out of here, and I'm gonna go fix my water heater, and we'll see what's going on with everything else. Love you guys. See you in the next video. Until next time.